Plug-in hybrids are a great solution for a lot of folks. You know, as we transition to a world of electrification, not everyone is ready for a full electric vehicle. And now Lexus has launched a brand new plug-in hybrid variant of their all-new three-row SUV. Case, what are we looking at today?
This is the new Lexus TX, and it's specifically the 550 model because there are a number of different powertrain options you can get. And this is really the flagship powertrain option for the Lexus TX.
You forgot the most interesting part, Case, the Plus.
H+.
The H+, yeah. So this is a vehicle that has both gasoline and electric powertrains, and on electricity it can go up to 33 miles on a charge according to Lexus. Now this is not an official EPA number, and we are not quite ready to see the final numbers because we're still a little whiles away from the launch of this car. But let's talk about what this car is based off, because it shares its underpinnings with a Toyota.
Yeah, it's based on the Grand Highlander, and you can see that really from the shape and the size of it. This is obviously a three-row SUV. It's very large, it's very long, and yeah, you know, some people might be wondering why pick the Lexus over the Grand Highlander. Certainly a lot of the luxury features on this. I mean, these 22-inch wheels will be a factor for some people. Also powertrain options, but this 550H Plus, as Tommy had to specify, has over 400 horsepower.
Yeah, right. And this is a powertrain that is not coming to the Toyota Grand Highlander, or at least it hasn't been announced. So what we're looking at here is a V6 engine instead of the Turbo 4 from other Toyota or Lexus products, and it's mated to the electrical architecture. And as Case said, right around 404, 406 horsepower. I've seen a couple different numbers depending on who you ask, but you know, that's a lot of power in a three-row family hauling crossover that's not intended to be a sports car. And it's the only version of the Lexus that gets the V6. I'm kind of interested, why does the plug-in hybrid have the V6 while the other models have the four-cylinder? Kind of an interesting twist there.
Yeah, it is, but there's a few things that are important to note on this plug-in hybrid version of the TX. So coming around the back, for one, you do have 5,000 pounds of towing with this powertrain. But it is important to note, if we move our bags out of the way here and we show you what's underneath, you won't find a spare tire under here. It's just going to have a tire kit, and that is because of primarily weight.
It does have the jack though, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And you'll also find yourself your standard wall connector, right? Now we are still extremely light on details on this car, and we will hope to know more as time progresses as to exactly, like, you know, the charge times and that in the TX 550. This is an early look. This car goes on sale actually next year. But Case, let me take the phone from you, and why don't you show off the front seat, and then we'll take a look at the rear seat.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and close the back here.
What do you think, Case? Is it an attractive design?
You know, I think it's pretty sharp. I mean, my heart kind of lies with the GX when it comes to Lexus SUVs, but I do think that this is fairly sharp. They did obviously a very different kind of styling decision with the front end on this, but I think where this vehicle really shines is here in the interior. You have a lot of very nice materials. You have very nice screens, a 14-inch screen here in the center and a 12.3-inch screen in front of me. It's all really sharp, very responsive, nice technology that's in here. Tons of USB-C ports, wireless charging. You can slide this forward. Even these cup holders are modular if you want to open up the space here in your console. So it's a nice interior, and it does some cool things.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a very comfortable place to spend time. We've got this dual material on the seat and this this higher end trim, right, with this kind of anthracite material on the leather. And then we've got some nice silver accenting across the dash with a slight bronze twist. This really nice steering wheel.
Great looking steering wheel, nice paddle shifters on it, good feel to the material on the wheel. And then you've got these electronic door handles inside and out, which feel good. You've got Mark Levinson audio right here. I've got a big heads-up display in front of me. It's just a nice interior, but a big part of the reason that people are going to go for this TX is because of what's going on in the back. Now, it's important to note that one of the big differences between the Grand Highlander and even the non-hybrid version of the TX is how many seats you can have in the vehicle. So these hybrid models are only going to be 6-seaters versus a 7-seater in the non-hybrid version as an option, or even in the Grand Highlander, an 8-seater. But this is meant to be a little bit more comfortable for your passengers, so that is emphasized over it being, you know, a maximum number of people that you can fit in here. And I mean, it is comfortable. You've got these captain's chairs with nice armrests. You've got heated and ventilated seats. You have your own climate controls back here. You've got USB-Cs. You have your own center console, and this too is modular. Even the entire console itself can lift out so that you can get into the back seat through the center. But really, the easiest way to get through the back seat is a long press on the button up front, and it slides out of the way. And actually, I didn't use it there, but there's a little handle here that Toyota has placed to make it a little easier for you to get back here. You've got a USB-C back here as well. These seats also recline. You have your own vent, and if I pull the seat in front of me in place, I mean, I'm 5'10". I'm not especially tall, but I'm also not short, and I actually have really good space back here.
Well, in case, I think that's one of really the big differentiating factor that the TX has brought to the table, is especially compared to the old RX 3-row and even the GX and the LX to some extent, the third rows are kind of penalty boxes, but in the TX, granted the floor is a little high, but it's actually a pretty comfortable third row even for adults.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big vehicle, make no mistake about that, and one of the advantages of that is how much space you have there in the third row. It's one of the better third rows that I've actually sat in.
So for the first time now, we've got a real usable third row in a Lexus that's not, you know, a Yukon competitor with the LX. So I'm glad to see that for families, this is a good option, especially with the plug-in hybrid feature. And I think the plug-in hybrid port, yep, there we have it right there on the passenger side, your standard J1772 port, no DC fast charging option. But Case, let me give you the camera here, and we'll hop in and take her for a spin.
Absolutely. Tommy gets the privilege of driving the fast TX.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this, right? You know, plug-in hybrids are, you know, vehicles that often don't go covered with, I think, the same amount of respect they should in the EV space, because these are vehicles that do work for a lot of folks. And if Toyota's right with the estimated 33 miles of EPA-rated range, or of their claimed range, if that's what EPA is, that would be pretty decent numbers and would allow you to do some commuting, some taking kids to school, that kind of thing on electricity alone. Right now we're reading about 16% state of charge. You want to kind of show how they have this laid out. So you've got the charge indicator there on the right, and then the fuel, or sorry, charge indicator on the left, fuel on the right. And then we also have different modes here. So we can cycle from EV to hybrid mode, and then we also have a charge mode. If we push and hold that, we can fire up that gas engine and put some more energy back into the battery. But we're going to take it for a little spin here and see how it performs. So Case, do you like the idea of a plug-in hybrid?
I do. I mean, I think it gives you a lot of the best of both worlds. This is a vehicle that obviously you can road trip very easily.
Yeah.
But 33 miles of range, to your point, if that ends up being what the EPA confirms, yeah, that's most people's commute.
And Toyota is also targeting 30 mpg when the gasoline is on. So really respectable numbers considering how big that back row of seats is. And initially, you know, driving around in EV mode, it's very quiet. We also have all-wheel drive, of course, Toyota's all-wheel drive system. So very quiet so far. We're just cruising through this neighborhood. Got these nice doggos here. Look how well-behaved those dogs are. Very, very nice. Yeah, but, you know, low speeds, incredibly smooth. We got the AC going. You know, we're not sacrificing any climate control or audio for going into the EV mode. But as we merge onto this main road, I'm just going to punch it, and we're going to see if it kicks on the gas engine, as a lot of plug-in hybrids do.
Yeah, let it have it, Tommy.
Okay, you ready?
Let's see it.
Here we go.
Oh, a little chirp of the tires.
A little chirp of the tires and up to the speed limit. Initial torque response is pretty, in EV mode, yeah, you're not going to light your hair on fire, but it's actually pretty good, and it lets you go all the way to full throttle, even past the kickdown switch. Look at that. Even past the kickdown switch on electricity alone. So if you're in EV mode, you are in EV mode. This thing is locked on in.
Yeah, it's very committed.
Look at that. Very cool. And one of the other journalists here, I'm not going to have a chance to take this on the highway because they only have about 15 minutes with this, but another journalist said they were able to drive it on EV on the highway. So that's good to hear. So, it's not some like half-baked solution where they're sort of letting you go to EV, but then they really want you to kick on the gas if you're driving around at speed. It feels like even with fairly aggressive acceleration, it moves pretty good. Very comfortable ride quality too. Even on these 22s, it kind of floats.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel at all harsh, even with those big wheels. And we were just driving the TX350, which is the base powertrain, and even on EV mode, this feels a lot more sporty than the 350.
All right, I'm going to click on this other mode, which I forgot to mention, the Auto EV HV. And now if I punch it, the gas engine does kick on.
Yeah.
So that's when you are able to kick on the gas engine. So the Auto EV HV mode is a good setting because it allows you to drive in EV mode at low speeds, but then it knows when to kick on the gas engine for the most efficiency, right? How to get the most out of your TX.
Yeah, and that way the vehicle will just figure things out for you. You don't really have to think about it too much yourself. And yeah, it's probably going to be the way that a lot of people with this version of the TX drive.
Peeling out, ready? Jeez, this thing has got some, as Nathan would say, cojones.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound that bad.
It's got kind of a good little burble too. Here, we'll spin around here. Check out the turning radius. Really good turning radius. We should also have the up to 4 degrees of rear wheel steer on this model. Yeah, guys, I have to say, this is a very impressive package. The big question is, what is this going to cost? So the gas and the standard hybrid TX range between about 55 through about 76 for the fully loaded hybrid. This is the plug-in hybrid, so I'm thinking it's going to be more like 80, which is a lot of money. It's a big ask. Good news is, though, Case, this vehicle is assembled in Indiana alongside the Sienna and the Standard TX and the Highlander. So the question I'm wondering is this vehicle going to qualify for the tax credit? I asked Lexus. They don't have an answer for me yet because they're still working through the final details, but that would be a good advantage of this vehicle.
Yeah, and there's definitely potential that it will. So again, to your point, having that rebate might make this make more sense financially because it is not the cheapest vehicle on the market, not the cheapest vehicle in this segment. And the other thing about it too is that you shouldn't expect this to be a rugged vehicle by any means. If you want the more rugged option from Lexus, definitely the GX is going to be that.
Or the LX, yeah.
Yeah, or the LX. This is just, it's going to be more of a road vehicle, but if you need a bigger SUV just to haul around a lot of people, a lot of things.
Which is what most people want.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty good.
This can definitely do that.
Yeah, initially my initial impression is I'm very impressed. It's a very premium feeling vehicle. And look, there's not a lot of great options for electrified 3-row crossovers right now. We got the EV9 coming, which is fully electric, but not everyone wants a full electric. You got the large Americans, like the Tahoe, the Yukons, that kind of thing, but those are very, very inefficient. Volvo has some offerings, but it still is pretty scant in the marketplace. So I'm thinking that this Lexus, at least on the premium end of things, is going to be a cool option, and I'm really digging how they incorporated the hybrid powertrain with the electrical architecture. It's very smooth, very well integrated initially, and you got all your safety features like adaptive cruise, lane centering, lane departure warning, everything, blind spot monitoring. Very safe vehicle from that standpoint as well. So, Case, I'm digging this thing. Going on sale starting next year, so we're still a few months out, but what do you think? First impressions pretty good?
Yeah, it's been really good, and true of all the other TXs that we've been driving. I think it's a very rational vehicle for a lot of people, and if you want to see some videos on other TXs that we've been driving, the ones that are actually hitting dealerships right now, you can check that out at alltfl.com.
Oh, I'm also noticing I can change the regen mode using the paddle shifters.
Oh, I do love that.
So maybe not quite a full one pedal, but certainly has a decent amount of regen capability when I let off the accelerator. That's cool!
Yeah, that's always
Dang,
nice.
Lexus is doing well with this, guys. Initial impressions very good. We'll have it out in Colorado hopefully soon to run it through the range tests and that kind of thing. But looking to be a winner.